Now to give us a perspective on the ups and downs, like you mentioned earlier on, in the just concluded governorship and State House of Assembly elections, we are joined in our Lagos studio by a social commentator, Boladale Adekoya, and in our Abuja studio, we have a security expert, Olatunbosun Abolariwa. It's a pleasure to have you guys join us at the moment.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Also joining us via Skype is an analyst with Uzabe Mukhtar Modibo from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. Thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you.
Now, Boladale, let us start with you. You've seen reactions to some of the stories on our website. You've also seen people celebrating while others are just complaining pretty much about the entire process at this time. What is your initial reaction to all of this?
Well, I think that is the fundamental thing about democracy in elections. Some will definitely celebrate when they attain victory, and others will not be so happy with the outcome of the election if they are defeated at the poll. However, the most important thing is that the process that dictates the victory or the loss of the election should be, in every sense of fairness, should be free and fair, should be seen to be fair and fair as well. And given that yardstick, we can say confidently that across the country, either on the February 23rd election or the March 9th election, it has been of mixed reaction. It has not been as expected, and the outcome, especially in the area of conduct and the process of the election, has been unfortunate.
Well, so we also have some states where the results have been declared inconclusive. And again, it's boiling down to the issue of mixed reactions. While some say it is a good thing for those who were not able to cast their votes, were not able to have their voices heard, some say that it is a ploy to rig the elections in favor of a particular candidate. But, I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, I think a lot of people who have been reacting, especially the inconclusive elections, have reasons to be concerned. We all saw what took place in Osun State, what allegedly took place in Osun State, and why some of the results were magically rendered voided and inconclusive. And I think the same process seems to be playing up across in states. If you look at the state that has been listed as inconclusive, these are states that appear to have been won by the opposition party, and all of a sudden, most of these states are now declared inconclusive, while those ones that have been won by the ruling party had no issues and they were declared returned.
Yeah, but those states, I mean, have different scenarios.
Yes, of course, states definitely have different scenarios. But if you look at first the issue of Kano State now, where the last result of Nasarawa local government was about to be read yesterday, there was disruption, and that was why the CP Wakali had to arrest the deputy governor of Kano State. And that result was not read by INEC. So that was why, as far as Kano is concerned now, the result has not been announced yet. If you look at Bauchi State, they are waiting for Tafa Balewa local government in Bauchi State. And that result ought to have been read as well. All of a sudden, when it was presented to INEC, it was they had to shift the period of reading out the result. So across the state as well, it's been of almost. If you look at Sokoto State, they said the difference in between the candidates and the voided votes is huge. So that is why it has been declared inconclusive. These are, of course, these are very germane and legal reaction from INEC.
Right, Boladale, before we begin to talk about legal issues, let's quickly go to Abuja to get our security expert, Mr. Olatunbosun Abolariwa. Now, I would like to direct your attention to Rivers State, which was already a hot topic even before election day. So from pre-election to election and now post-election, Rivers is still a huge talking point on social media and across the country. What do you make of the situation there at this time?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Rivers State, like you rightly said, has its own peculiar problem to security of lives and property generally. And they have problem because it's an oil producing area. We have a lot of militants, we have cultism, we have robberies, and we have kidnappings. So every security problem that we seem to have in Nigeria, Rivers State has its own fair share of almost 60% of that. That being said, it gives room for security operatives and security presence to get themselves ready in preparation for this. Unfortunately, we are seen being reactive as usual as opposed to being proactive in Rivers. Rivers State is a sensitive area where anyone who is posted there to maintain peace and harmony needs to behave, if I put it like the CP Wakili of Kano State, the way they behave. That's the only way we can have balance. If we cannot get the people who are casting their vote to be happy and satisfied, it may be asking for trouble. And it may not even be asking for trouble in a troubled state before. And I think what played out in Rivers State in the last 48 hours, where the military and the police were seen to be at loggerheads over the issue of announcing results, collation of election results, is very, very appalling. Well, and I only hope that that problem is going to be nipped in the bud before it gets out of hand.
All right, so that's just Rivers State. What about other states? I mean, we've also seen issues in some other states in the country, apart from Rivers. We've also seen Lagos, seen in Imo, where it didn't just stop at the collation centers. It went, I mean, at the voting areas, it went right to the collation center. So how would you, what's your general assessment of the security performance during this process?
To be very honest with you, it will be wrong to mark down the security agencies in their performance in all other areas. The loss of lives and the loss of property is very, very unfortunate. But that still being said, I still want to wish or call for more proactiveness on the part of our security agencies in the area of maintaining peace and harmony. I also want to appeal to, again, to members of the public. You see, democracy is put in place to protect you. It's not put in place to kill you. So you don't have to die in the democratic process. So I want to appeal to every politician harming thugs. I want to appeal to every youth who are supposed to be in school, who are supposed to be in their job, in their businesses, not to take up arms in order to protect your electoral right or activities. We need to shift ourselves. It's a major and a big topic, and it's not something that will just happen during the election. It is something that we need to be prepared for. Like I rightly say, the duty of security agencies at the polling unit shouldn't be mixed up with showing interest in electoral processes, but to protect people's will and to ensure that there is no loss of life and property, or it is brought to the minimum. So in a situation where we have the army and the police clashing, really says a lot about what has panned out. That is not enough reason to really castigate every other part of Nigeria. I want to praise Nigerian police, Nigerian army, the civil defense, and many other agencies that join in the areas where we have peaceful election. But like I was saying earlier on, there is more work to be done. Post-election violence is looking real now, and it's something that we really need to put up a resilient to
Mr. Abolariwa, please hold on. I'd like to get Boladale's reaction to what you have just told us. Boladale.
Well, I think we don't have to be too diplomatic with the situation in Nigeria, especially when it concerns security and the election. This is I can say confidently that this is one of the worst elections as far as security is concerned in this country. The case of Rivers State.
That's relative.
Yes, the case of Rivers State is a pointer, and we can, not just in February 23rd, but also in March 9. And the United Kingdom can actually issue a statement declaring that they are aware of the interference of the Nigerian forces in the election in Rivers State. Shows a long way that this is one of the most disappointing elections we've ever had in this country. And it is very instructive, because we've seen allegations and videos of members of soldiers getting involved, directly involved in the process of election, of barricading collation centers, and allegedly also of snuffing ballot papers. I saw a video on social media of Nigerian of the Nigerian police guiding talks to take away ballot papers and send the allegations, of course.
How verifiable are those?
They are allegations. They are videos. Fine, they are allegations. It is not about being doctored or not. But the problem is this.
Let me just hold you a bit and bring in Mukhtar, who is joining us via Skype. He's an analyst with Uzabe. Mukhtar, I mean, so you are very much interested in the process with your application, yes. Of course. So I mean, allegations here and there, military this, military that. What have you seen? What was reported on your platform, especially in that regard?
Okay, first of all, I have to say Nigerian Army, Nigerian police, and all the security people, tried in some extent. And in some extent, the deployment of security personnel in this election is actually great. But to some extent, in some part of the country, the security is not tight as we expected, but we won't say it's the worst election. I can't say that because we've started receiving reports of security from exactly two from Kano, Nasarawa, Akwa Ibom, and Borno State. In Kano, to be precisely, in Minjibir local government, we've seen issues whereby thugs, covered an entire polling station. I think 3 or 4 polling stations. 4 polling stations. They burn all the ballot papers. Tear and scatter the polling unit. So I can't say it's the worst election, but they really tried. But to some extent, they need to do something about what is happening in Rivers and in other part of Delta and Imo State.
All right, Verel, so that apart, I mean, how would you react? Because Boladale is saying that the UK has issued a statement. So how would you react to that statement, Mr. Bolariwa? Let me come to you this time around.
Okay, well, another country issuing a statement about what is happening in Nigeria is not something that we should react to too quickly because we have our own sovereignty. We have our own problem, and it is our duty to solve our problem. That being said, I would still want the security agencies and all the relevant agencies to not to ignore what other countries like United Kingdom are saying about our election and the interference. I really wish, and I will still state that here, that the process of ensuring that anybody that violates Electoral Act to be brought to book is the next thing we should be looking at. I am happy that as about 5 days ago, the police have about 343 suspects of electoral violence and electoral interference. I pray that they will be able to charge those people to court to send signal to all those who are doing it or that still want to do it, that it's not something they can get away with. I also wish that Kano State Commissioner of Police will also do well by ensuring that anybody caught in Kano State is charged to court and they are made to face music. That is the only way we can send signals to members of the public who are disrupting the election. As for the soldiers and police officers and security personnel who are caught interfering with election, I will want to plead with the federal government to ensure that they wash their clothes clean on this and make sure that some security personnel found wanting are investigated and brought to book. All
right, thank you very much, security experts, Mr. Olatunbo Bolariwa, who joined us from Abuja studio, as well as Mukhtar Modibo, who joined us via Skype from Abuja as well. Thank you to both of you, as well as...
Not forgetting Boladale Adekoya.
Not at all.
In our Lagos studio.
Thank you as well for joining us on the program.